Good evening. I'd like to formally welcome everyone, including members of the gallery and press, to this council meeting. My name is Councillor Owen Sharkey. I'm the Mayor of Golden Plains Shire. Tonight, this council meeting is taking place within the Well in Smearsdale and is open to the public. This meeting is being live streamed in accordance with council's rules, and I welcome any viewers joining us online. As the meeting is open to the public to attend, if the live stream ceases at any time, the meeting will continue. We do have Councillor Cook, who is attending online. And Councillor Cook, if I could just confirm, I can see you. Are you able to see and hear us?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Cook, and we can hear you. Welcome and welcome. Thank you. I'll now recite the opening declaration on behalf of all councillors. We, the councillors of Golden Plains Shire, declare that we will undertake on every occasion to carry out our duties in the best interest of the community, and that our conduct shall maintain the standards of the Code of Good Governance, so that we may faithfully represent and uphold the trust placed in this council by the people of Golden Plains Shire. Golden Plains Shire spans the traditional lands of the Wadawurrung and Eastern Maar people. We acknowledge them as the traditional owners and custodians. Council pays its respect to both the Wadawurrung and Eastern Maar elders, past, present and emerging. Council extends that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people who are part of the Golden Plains Shire. We now move to apologies. Councillors, or any leave of absence?
Mr Mayor, I'd like to seek a leave of absence from the 7th to the 18th of October, please. I'll be overseas in Greece and Turkey.
Very much, Councillor Cook. Any other leaves of absence, councillors? Can I seek a mover to accept the leave of absence? Moved Councillor Hayden, seconded Councillor Kirby. All those in favour? Motion is carried. Thank you. Councillors, we have a recommendation for us to confirm the minutes of the scheduled council meeting held on the 26th of August 2025. Can I seek a mover to confirm the minutes? Moved Councillor Phelan, seconded Councillor Hayden. All those in favour? Motion is carried. Thank you. Councillors, are there any declarations of conflict of interest?
Sharkey.
Much, Councillor Hayden.
I have a material conflict of interest on item 7.3, as it has come to my attention that my property is located in the area of works.
Very much, Councillor Hayden. Councillor, any other declarations of conflict of interest?
Yeah, with the 7.1, the Teesdale flood study, potential conflict of interest regarding my properties.
The material interest. Thank you much, councillors. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Councillor Phelan.
The agenda item 7.3, variation Portland Road flood mitigation conditions of on item 7.10 be debated after the Telex report 7.0. Telex report and informal meeting of councillors records.
Thank you very much, Councillor Phelan. Moving a motion that we move the item 7.3 to confidentiality due to questions around contractual issues. Is there any, can I have a councillor second that? Seconded, Councillor Robbins. All those in favour? Very much. We'll move item 7.3 to up 7.10. Councillors, we move to public question time. Public question time runs for 30 minutes prior to consideration of the formal agenda by council. We consider questions received with notice from the public. I will now call each person who has submitted a question forward. Please come up to the microphone, or we have a few people online with us. And I do note the question time is not an opportunity to make general statements or enter into debate with council or officers. There are 4 questions in total, and question number 1, Ruth Weston, joining us online.
Good evening, councillors. Golden Plains Shire has faced significant challenges regarding mortality events for animals due to its policy of encouraging intensive animal agriculture businesses in the area. Over 1,300,000 birds were killed in the Shire last year due to avian influenza, with a 100-kilometre control zone affecting multiple farms. Tonight, the council is discussing whether they will allow a free-range pig farm at Baruna Park. There will be approximately 4,418 pigs on site. With increasing disease outbreaks in Victoria in the last 2 years, how is it going to affect the council's reputation if the pigs contract Japanese encephalitis virus, which is a notifiable disease? Both farmers and taxpayers would benefit financially if there were no mass culling events in future. Just one farm, Farm Pride Foods, requested $4.2 million from Agriculture Victoria for the compulsory disposal of 80,000 hens from their Lethbridge farms, which tested positive in June 2024. Imagine what the cost of compensation would have been for the total of 1.3 million birds, and taxpayers foot the bill. Would promoting plant-based agriculture ventures not better align with the council's long-term goals for sustainability, reduce zoonotic risk, and provide stable income for local farmers? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ruth. The response will be provided by our Director of Community Planning and Growth, Mr. Jordan.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Ruth, for your question. The permit applicant is fully accredited with the Australian Pork Industry Quality Program. This certification proves that producers are meeting relevant state and federal legislation. Part of the accreditation includes hazard identification and managing risks such as biosecurity. Agriculture Victoria is the authority responsible for biosecurity risks, regulations and disease management on farms, and not council. In terms of promoting plant-based agriculture, council is required to assess the applications that are lodged against the provisions of the planning scheme. This particular application being for the purposes of a pig farm in a farming zone. To ensure unbiased decision-making occurs, council does not promote one use over another. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jordan. Can I please ask if Dorothy Johnson is here online? I can see Dorothy. Good. Thank you very much. Yeah, I can do, Dorothy. Good evening, and if you'd like to ask your question when you're ready.
Thank you. I'd like to thank the council for giving me the opportunity to ask a question. My question is about water usage. The farm is projected to use 8 million litres of water annually. In the context of a changing climate and the risk of drought in the region, it's not clear whether Southern Water can sustainably supply this volume. What contingency plans are in place should a drought occur? And how is the great water usage going to affect water security for residents of the area?
Thank you very much, Dorothy. A response again will be provided by our Director of Community Planning and Growth, Mr. Jordan. Thank you.
Thank you for your question, Dorothy. The subject site has been issued a water licence by Southern Rural Water to extract up to 18 megalitres a year. Council has no role or authority in relation to water licences and the extraction of water from bores. Contingency plans for drought and/or water matters addressed by Council. Thank you.
Mr. Jordan, thank you very much, Dorothy. Can I please ask if Annie Cranby is online? I think I can see you there, Annie.
Thank you.
Thank you. When you're ready, please ask your question. Thank you.
Okay, good evening, councillors. I'm concerned that the applicant's environmental planner has not sufficiently researched the risk of a Japanese encephalitis virus outbreak in the Golden Plains Shire. The consultant writes that the spread of JE virus over the past few years is an anomaly. Prior to this, there had not been an incursion into southern Australia in over 50 years. This use of the distant past to predict the future, ignoring more recent data to the contrary, is problematic. Explaining away future risk without scientific data to justify should create concern for both the applicant and the Golden Plains Shire. Recently published articles, including by epidemiologists in Victoria, overt that the risks are considered higher than the applicant's assessment has indicated. A June 2023 article co-authored by Dr. Sarah McGuinness and Professor Karen Leder from Monash University say surveillance gaps and diagnostic challenges lead to an underappreciation of the true disease burden. They write, ongoing seasonal transmission in southeastern Australia is likely, given the reporting of JE cases in 2 consecutive summers and ongoing La Nina weather patterns attracting water birds and providing conditions for increased mosquito breeding. An earlier scientific article written in 2022 co-authored by David T. Williams from the Centre for, from the Centre for Disease Preparedness, CSIRO Geelong, also reported that Australia has experienced 2 consecutive years of higher than average rainfall, 2020 to 21 and 21 to 22, and record-breaking flooding across the east of the country may have assisted in the spread of JE virus over the past year through a combination of greatly increased mosquito breeding sites and conditions and the attraction of waterbird movements into fresh feeding opportunities. As for risk of future outbreaks in mainland Australia, the article reads, it is believed that JE virus genotype 4 viruses are tropical rather than more temperate in their occurrence. Nevertheless, it is an important question that needs to be addressed. Successful establishment requires the presence of vertebrate hosts and competent vector species. Australia has both in abundance. Agriculture Victoria's website indicates that the department does not undertake a regulatory response to detections of the virus. This includes no quarantines or restrictions on the movement of livestock, products or formites. They recommend monitoring of animals and management of mosquito populations if an outbreak on a farm is detected. My question is, on what grounds is Council willing to take the risk of an outbreak of JE virus in the Shire?
Annie, thank you very much for your question there. Again, I will refer to our Director, Mr. Jordan. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for your question, Annie. Disease management on farms, addressing biosecurity risks are matters outside of Council's control. Agriculture Victoria is the responsible authority. Biosecurity regulations and disease management on farms, not Council. Commercial producers are required to meet biosecurity requirements, and the applicant is fully accredited with the Australian Pork Industry Quality Program. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jordan. Annie, you have a second question. Are you ready?
Yes, just what is the Council willing to do to address the risk of human fatalities as a result of the virus?
Very much, Annie. Again, I'll defer to our Director of Community Planning and Growth, Mr. Jordan.
Thanks again, Annie. Council's role is to address the permit application in terms of the planning scheme and relevant planning policies and controls. Council is not an authority to manage risk to public health. The Department of Health Victoria oversees public health legislation, policies and guidelines to promote health and wellbeing and to prevent disease in the Victorian community.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jordan. And thank you very much for those in attendance and asking those questions. Your time is appreciated, and thank you kindly. We now move on to consider the formal agenda. And we just also note there that there is one person who has registered to make a public submission tonight. After the introduction of the report, I will call this submitter forward. I would like to remind you that the speaker's time is allocated. You may speak for a maximum of 5 minutes and ask you respect the time limit. To assist presentation, alarm will sound once 5 minutes has elapsed. 2 minutes will then be allocated for councillors to ask questions of the presenter, and I do note that this is not a time for debate.
I'll just
Thank you very much. Item 7.1. Thank you very much, Councillor Gamble, declaring a conflict of interest on the planning scheme amendment, Teesdale Flood Study Panel Report. Councillors, I refer you to page 6 of the agenda for this report. And councillors, are there any questions with regards to this item? There's no questions on this item. Can I seek a mover? Councillor Kirby, moving the recommendation. Just like to read out. I appreciating the amendment you have circulated. Councillors has been circulated there. I do note that the amendment, if you did want to just read out the point number 4, which is the only point of difference from the recommendation, if that's correct.
An extra dot point, item number 4, write to the relevant minister requesting any additional support that could be provided to the Teesdale community to further mitigate the impacts of flooding.
Very much, Kirby. Councillors, we have a motion on the table. If anyone would like to second the motion.
Is there any identified priority flood mitigation or drainage improvement project for Teesdale that we could seek the minister's support? And if not, what support exactly would we be needing?
Much, Councillor Robbins. I'll defer that question through to either the mover or director. Just around the intent of that letter to the minister.
Yeah, we would need to take on notice what level of design has been done around any potential mitigation measures, and some of those were explored throughout the initial flood study process. So the actual type of support for any infrastructure would need to be potentially clear on what that might look like, but certainly writing to the minister in terms of some level of support could still occur whilst that investigation of options is looked at and brought to councillors.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jordan. Any further questions, councillors, or seeking someone to second the motion? Seconding the motion, Councillor Hayden. Councillor Kirby, if you'd like to speak to the motion, thank you kindly.
So first of all, I'd like to thank the 18 submissions that were lodged with council, noting that 15 were from the residents. The planning panel found that the basis for the amendment is clear and well supported, and that the study methodology and finding of the study were appropriate and provided a suitable basis for the flood control mapping. As was stated in the report, if council does not proceed with the amendment, it could be liable or at risk from litigation if development occurs where the mapping in the planning scheme is outdated. The amendment provides clear policy direction to ensure development within areas defined as flood prone. From catchment sources, as catchment sources are regulated in order to avoid hazard to human life and property and impacts on floodplain behaviour. I do acknowledge the validity and accuracy of the modelling that was presented to the panel, but unfortunately for the ratepayers, their evidence and concerns were not supported, as many submitters believed the modelling was inaccurate, as the flooding they experienced in 2022 did not match the 1% AEP flood extents. The panel agreed that little material benefit would have been realised by undertaking detailed modelling and calibration of this event. The panel was satisfied that climate change impacts have been appropriately considered and incorporated into the flood modelling. Designating a property is flood prone in a planning scheme may negatively impact insurance rates and property value, is not a reason to avoid the application of planning controls to manage flood impact. Insurance premiums and rates are not relevant to planning considerations. If climate change modelling continues to evolve and its impacts are likely to be less than delay and LSIO, should this be updated accordingly? This is why amendment number 4 needs to be added to the recommendation so as to support our residents in any shape or form that the Minister may be able to act on. I move this recommendation on behalf of the Teesdale residents. Thank you.
Councillor Kirby. Councillor Hayden, seconding the motion.
Yeah. To begin with, I want to acknowledge the many conversations I've had with Teesdale families and the fear and frustration that they've been feeling about the amendment. Several residents have expressed concerns about potential impacts, particularly on their insurance premiums as a result of the amendment. Insurance companies set their premiums based on risk information from a number of sources. The risk exists quite independent of the decision that we make here in Council tonight. In April, this council decided to refer this matter to a planning panel. This was to enable us to receive a fair recommendation from an independent panel that had impartially considered arguments of all parties. The recommendation from the panel is to proceed with the amendment. Having sought and received that recommendation, we cannot turn our back on our responsibility to act. If we fail to amend the planning scheme based on the findings from the flood study, new homes would inevitably be approved based on outdated maps, putting future landowners and builders at risk.
Thank you very much, Councillor Hayden. Councillors, is there anyone that would like to speak against the motion? Nobody speaking against the motion. I'll put the motion to a vote. All those in favour? Motion is carried. Thank you very much, councillors. And we'll ask Councillor Gamble to return. Thank you very much, Councillor Gamble. Councillors, item 7.2, Road, Baruna Park. Councillors, page number 9 on the agenda. And one request for a hearing that has been received for tonight's meeting, and I'll call Judy Croach forward to speak. Thank you very much. Perfect there. Yeah, that's perfectly fine. Thank you very much, Judy, for joining us this evening.
Good evening, councillors, and thank you for the opportunity to speak to you tonight. My name is Judy Crow, and together with my husband Tim, we part own and run Western Plains Pork. This year we're celebrating 29 years in operation, and we're very proud of what we do and how we've grown to become one of Australia's leading outdoor bred free-range pig producers. At Western Plains Pork, our pigs are raised outdoors in paddocks with water, wallows, straw shelters and plenty of space to express natural behaviours. We farm on a paddock rotation system. Pigs are in one location for about 3 years, and then the paddock goes back to the farmer, who then crops or puts pasture down. And then the pigs might return to that location. This just depends on the site and the soil tests. The organic matter left behind by the pigs helps fertilise the soil, means less synthetic fertilisers are applied, and it also helps improve the soil health. This rotation is part of the whole farm plan. Moving pigs to fresh sites not only improves soil health, but it also minimises risk of disease. We've amended our plans for the permit as we want to work with our neighbours. We've increased the buffer distances to dwellings and to Maya Creek and Bath Swamp. It's about working alongside the neighbouring properties so that together we get the best outcomes. We're here for the long term, and building positive relationships with the community is an important part of that. We take standards seriously. Western Plains Pork, as you said, is fully accredited with APIC, which is the Australian Pork Industry Quality Assurance Program. APIC accreditation is independently audited every year, covers animal welfare, food safety, biosecurity and environmental management. It's the benchmark for responsible pork production in Australia. On top of this, we have our own internal compliance officer to make sure we always meet these standards. We work closely with experts. Our environmental planner, Robin Tucker, who has worked with us for many years. Robin ensures our farming plans protect waterways, manage nutrients responsibly and meets environmental standards. Her role is to help us balance production with protecting natural resources, and she has been instrumental in shaping the way we farm today. We also have our vet, Ben Lynn, who not only visits at least twice a month, but he's also in contact with us almost daily. Ben knows our animals and our system inside out, and he supports us to continually improve animal health, welfare and biosecurity. Having been so closely involved gives us confidence that we are always at the forefront of best practice. Western Plains Pork is more than just farming pigs. We're an important part of the local economy. We employ 55 people, buy from local businesses and we support our local community. Agriculture is important to this shire and we are proud to play a role for keeping it strong. We've also taken a forward-thinking approach to sustainability. Alongside our rotational outdoor system, we're investing in solar and batteries and working on projects including another life cycle assessment to lower our carbon footprint. We see the future of farming as ethical, sustainable and accountable. We want to be at the forefront of that. Looking ahead, we're focused on growing our free-range pig production. Demand for our pork is increasing and we're committed to meeting it in a way that stays true to our values, farming responsibly, caring for the land and maintaining the highest standards for our animals and our people. After 29 years, Tim and I are committed as ever to the region and to Western Plains Pork. Our actions speak louder than words. Through our farming system, we show that we can produce premium quality pork while respecting the environment, supporting our people and giving back to the area. Thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you.
That's great. Thank you kindly for your time. Councillors, is there any questions to the speaker? Councillor Kirby, thank you.
Mr Mayor. Thank you, Judith. Congratulations on 29 years as well in the industry because I know what you've brought to Golden Plains Shire in the time I've been a councillor. I was just wondering, once the farm is turned over back to the farmer, do you know how much extra yield you receive from the crops?
Well, from what I have seen around where we are now, it actually can be substantial, like during tougher years, because the pigs are putting all the straw and the manure go back in. It actually improves the soil structure and health. And I can't tell you because I don't do cropping, but I know that we have a block at Graham's Road and we lease that to Graham Fagg, and one year when other people were getting 4 tonne to the hectare, he was getting 5.5 or 6. So it can be significant. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very much, Councillor Kirby. Councillors, is there any further questions? Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for the opportunity. Much appreciated.
Thank you very much. Councillors, we have a recommendation in front of us and we'll seek a mover to the motion. Moving the motion, Councillor Robbins. Seconding the motion, Councillor Gamble. Thank you. Councillor Robbins.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. This is an application for a pig farm. As Liz Pro mentioned, it's a rotational outdoor pig farm and it's located in a farming area in Burrup Park. I called this matter in to be considered by council because there were concerns about impacts on adjoining properties and wetlands. The Maya Creek passes through the site and Bath Swamp adjoins the site. There will be a condition on the permit that the pigs need to be in enclosures that are at least 200 metres away from the Maya Creek and Bath Swamp, and the fencing of those enclosures will be electrified and pig-proof. This should provide an adequate buffer to protect those waterways from impact of pigs and animals. Director Jordan's already addressed the question of biosecurity risks during the public question time portion of the meeting. So I am satisfied that the proposed use of the land for a pig farm is supported by policy and the impacts on adjoining properties and wetlands are ready to be adequately managed by the permit conditions. So I'm going that we issue a notice.
Councillor Roberts, Councillor Gamble seconding the motion.
Yeah, thank you. This application was called in on the basis of having 10 objections. And it is a significant industrial farming operation, potentially over 3,000 pigs, although they're spread out over a large area. Well, firstly, thanks to the officers and the agencies and the applicant for in regards to the significant enlargement of the riparian buffer zones from what was initially proposed 30 metres to the current 200 metres. I believe this is in recognition of potential risks in the sensitive catchment landscape and nearby watercourses, wetlands and the Maya Creek. I too have concerns with the potential runoff surface contamination from 2 years of pig habitation in the event of heavy rains, extremely heavy rains. The runoff could contain very high levels of nutrients and phosphates, which results in algal blooms and major pollution issues further down sensitive wetlands. I also have concerns with the potential runoff surface. Sorry, the amendments. I did have an amendment that was also asked to establish biorich plantations along the riparian zones. But on advice, which I accept, I'm not proceeding with this. However, with Judy here, maybe she could potentially consider this at a later stage to look into. I'd also appeal for a greater buffer zone on the western drain line, currently 30 metres, because ultimately that water could or will, it also goes into Bath Swamp, and that would be a great, that would be really unfortunate if that swamp was to be polluted. I also have concern about the use of bore water. I know Southern Rural Water's approval, yet they are both the receiver of payment to the regulator. The water drawn is over a full rhino tank every 2 days. This is water that may keep a river alive or eucalypt leaves tender enough for koalas. We don't know. There are other issues and concerns I don't have time to go into. Southern Rural Water is an agency that we have no jurisdiction over. There are many issues and concerns people have voiced in their objections, which I believe would, after the questioning and advice received through our briefing session for one thing, and past experiences and cases, unfortunately not be upheld in VCAT. Well, they wouldn't, and would be, and that would be to the cost of residents and ratepayers. I'm nearly finished. I also note this form of pig farming is far more preferable to shed farming. The pigs do have a social existence, space, dirt, wallow pigs. So I endorse this application with the conditions, recognising the applicant has complied with the relevant code and state planning laws as they be. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Gamble. Councillors, is there any councillor that would like to speak against the motion?
I'd like to ask a question of the director, if I may.
I'm happy to accept question, but the moment for questions, like asked earlier.
Yes, I know, but this is
Question in regards to the motion that's on the table.
Yes, thank you.
Question being.
Thank you. I just wanted to clarify that the buffer zones are contained wholly on the property. I did see the blue on the map, but just wanted to make sure there was no buffer zones encroaching on anyone else's properties.
Councillor Kirby, we're appreciating that we've gone through a briefing on this and appreciating that we asked 4 questions.
Yes.
And we're at the moment.
But I just
making a
need
decision. No, but I don't want to get in the habit of asking questions whilst we're in the middle of it. We've got a
prerogative as a councillor to ask
at briefing days and prior to. We've got a motion. I've got a motion on the table. We are in the middle of debate, and we're asking a question that has been asked on briefing days, and the clarification could have been sought through all the reports.
Well, I just thought then, thank you.
Happy to take happy to take the question, Councillor Kirby, but I am appreciating we've got so much time and we're in the middle of the debate. I don't think it's.
I would ask for clarification. Thank you.
You didn't receive a response to a previous question. I'll put the question through to our director that may be able to answer it or take the question on notice.
Yeah, look, it's certainly practical. Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Councillor Kirby. Certainly, where practical, buffer areas that are contained wholly on the property are the preference. Just in relation to the 200 metre buffering from water, may impact on some property boundaries. I believe they are, but I would just like to take that on notice and double check for you, Councillor Kirby. Amended plans for the buffer will be submitted for the water courses, so we can certainly confirm that in due course.
Thank you very much, Doctor. Thank you very much. Councillor, is there anyone that would like to speak against the motion? Nobody speaking against the motion. I'll put the motion to a vote. All those in favour? Motion is carried unanimously. Thank you. Item 7.4, which is on page 24 of the agenda, and just appreciating that we are moving over 7.3 as earlier decided. Councillors, is there any questions on this item, the road management plan? There are no questions. I'll speak someone to move the motion. See, Councillor Cook is moving the motion, and are you moving the recommendation, Councillor Cook, or do you have another motion in mind?
I'm going to move to accept the recommendation with an addition about the upcoming roads and drainage maintenance services review.
Thank you very much. Would you like to just read out that point 2, taking the point 1 is the same as the recommendation?
Thank you. The point I'd like to add to acceptance of the road management plan is that Council receive the results of the upcoming roads and drainage maintenance service and cultural review at a future Council briefing, including reports on the compliance with the road management plan intervention level benchmarking, and the impact of amending intervention levels.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Councillor Cook. Councillors, that's a motion that has been circulated there prior to the meeting by Councillor Cook. Is there any councillors that would like to second the motion that's been put forward? Councillor Gamble seconding the motion. Councillor Cook, if you'd like to speak to your motion.
Thank you. The road management plan for this year is not really a new document. In some ways, it's a recasting of a previous road management plan that was last certified by or passed by the Council on the 27th of July 2021. Having said that, it is an important policy that has broad effects across the ratepayers in the Shire. It is the main document which sets out the policy and the operational objectives and performance standards that the Shire employees should adhere to. So this is the primary document that people should go to, and it does affect people at a basic level. It sets the maintenance standards not only for the roads but also for inspection of the roads. And also wider obligations for other road users, such as heavy load permits. Now, in particular, grading, I think, for residents of the Shire would be an important topic for those who drive regularly on graded roads. And I'd encourage anyone who may be listening to this meeting to go through the plan and look at the appendix for the intervention standards. And by trying to improve the standard of roads across the Shire, we've moved to grading all year round, not just in part of the year. And you can access the road grading calendar. I don't think it comes with photographs, but you can access the road grading calendar for when road grading should be undertaken in your area. So it's quite a comprehensive plan, and if you look at that in the broader perspective, you'll be able to disseminate what it may mean for you as the local ratepayer doing your road. In particular, some of the standards have been upgraded, and there was one where a sealed road was at one end of the road and the other, and there was an unsealed portion in between, and it did not come within the compliance standards for the plan. The plan has been amended to take account of that sort of situation to ensure that the intervening unsealed part of the road is properly maintained during the course of the year. And for these reasons, these small amendments to a 2021 plan, I'd move to council that the plan be accepted with the amendment as previously specified.
Thank you very much, Councillor Cook. Councillor Gamble seconding the motion.
Yeah, thank you. The plan details the management systems for road management and sets the standards in relation to Golden Plains Shire's duties and performance of road management within a budget context. I thank the residents who made submissions or input into the development of the plan. This plan does not apply to arterial roads. The Department of Transport and Planning are the responsible authority for these roads. The Golden Plains Shire Road Management Policy is the policy-based setting out the standards and operation objectives with the resources available, and clearly aims to ensure the provision of a safe and efficient road network for road users and the community. There are also obligations for road users, however. People travelling around our big shire need to exercise personal care and responsibility for their own and other safety, and also for wildlife, driving to conditions, taking it easy in known risky or dangerous areas, particular times of day. Road users should appreciate faults and issues can appear in the road system very quickly, and the time it takes for council to address them may vary. In my experience, largely personal observation, they are addressed in reasonable timeframes, and getting even better in the last couple of years, in my opinion, despite what some would say. Some sections of sealed roads really need replacing. While this work has been going on, in part, council really needs the support of federal and state government to invest in road and bridge infrastructure via the local governments. I also wish to acknowledge the more proactive approach taken in recent years to monitor and assess the different levels of attention or intervention required on different roads in our shire, and then to tailor the need to grade some roads, for example, much more frequently than others. I think residents are benefiting from the stable, strategic, professional and thoughtful approach from the leadership team and infrastructure generally, as reflected in this management plan. I'd also like to thank Councillor Cook for his amended motion, which I think is eminently sensible. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Gamble. Councillors, is there anyone that would like to speak against the motion? Speakers against the motion. Councillors, I will put the motion to a vote. All those in favour? Motion is carried unanimously. Thank you very much. Item 7.5, the adoption of gambling harm minimisation policy, found on page 20 of the agenda, councillors, page 26. Councillors, is there any questions on this item? No questions on this item. I will seek a mover motion. Moving the motion, Councillor Robbins, and seconding the motion, Councillor Gamble. Thank you very much. Councillor Robbins.
The gambling harm minimisation policy has gone out for application and one submission was received. It was from the Alliance for Gambling Reform, and it generously praised the draft policy, saying that it positions Golden Plains as a leader within regional Victoria in gambling harm prevention. It's fantastic that we were able to get the funding for this policy through the Leading Healthy Communities grant, and we're able to take proactive steps to reduce the risk of gambling.
Very much, Councillor Robbins. Pardon the pun, Councillor Gamble.
Yeah, and I won that one. There's some alarming facts contained in the background notes to this recommendation, such as that gambling harm is increasing and it significantly impacts young people aged 18 to 24 years. Australians gamble more on 20% more online than any other country in the world per capita. Sports betting can now be done online. So these conditions mean that just because a lot of us are not so close to hotels with pokies, etc., it doesn't mean that we're escaping the negative and potentially the harmful effects of gambling. Well, I thank the state government for supporting this policy development via the officers successfully securing funding via a Leading Healthy Communities grant of $50,000. Noteworthy in relation to this policy is the fact that the submission from the Alliance for Gambling Reform commended Council on developing a robust and forward-thinking policy and as a leader within regional Victoria in gambling harm prevention. So thanks to relevant officers for their work in this policy, which I'm very happy to.
Much, Councillor Gamble. Would any councillor like to speak against the motion? No councillor speaking against the motion. I will put the motion to a vote. All those in favour? Motion is carried unanimously. Thank you very much. Item 7.6, 2025-26 revised budget, found on page 29 of the agenda. Councillors, is there any questions on this item? There's no questions on page 26 of the 29. My apologies, Councillor Kirby. 29 of the agenda. Are there any questions? There's no questions on this, councillors. I'll seek a mover to the motion. Moving the motion, Councillor Robbins. Seconding the motion, Councillor Phelan. Councillor Robbins, thank you very much.
Thank you. Tonight we're considering a revised budget to enable council to establish an overdraft. This is to give us some flexibility because our revenues arrive in a cyclical fashion across the year while our expenses are more constant. So an overdraft facility acts as a smooth mechanism so we can make required payments even when cash balances are temporarily low. The revised budget also captures the impacts of the recent revaluation of council's assets. This year, our assets, land, building, roads and bridges have all increased in value and depreciation has also increased. Because of this, the underlying result has moved from a modest surplus to a deficit. You could look at this as just an accounting change, but it does matter because one of the ways we measure our performance is to look at whether renewal and upgrade spending is keeping pace with depreciation. I want to share that I've put hours of work into interrogating this revised budget. I've combed through it with relentless attention to detail. Since being elected, I've consistently said that improving our understanding of financial management is my ambition for this councillor group, and it's a professional development goal for me personally. Through this process, I've had a number of conversations with the CEO and key staff. I've expressed my concern that councillors must be provided with the information and support we need to feel fully confident in making key financial decisions. These are complex and consequential matters, and councillors would be derelict in their duty to simply pass them through without careful scrutiny. I want to acknowledge the efforts of the CEO, who has worked with me in good faith to answer questions and provide clarifications. I'm speaking about this issue to emphasise the importance of making decisions on the basis of robust, transparent information and showing the community that they can have confidence in our stewardship of public funds. After thorough review, I am satisfied that we need this revised budget, so I'm moving that we endorse it.
Councillor Robbins, Councillor Phelan seconding the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think that like this is really, from my point of view, it's one of those things that I thought would never happen in my years at local government, that we have forward a budget, we've put it out to the public, we have allow submissions, and then 3 months later we've got to go back out again. And I think that it's been from us as a council point of view, it's a very bad look at the community, when in fact in 3 months we've got to have 2 go to the budget. I know it's only an overdraft facility and it's something that's really required. I think it's a really good thing to have. But I think that we should have been more informed on this decision 4 or 5 months ago. And at the last minute, we found out that we had to have an overdraft to continue to pay our staff and to continue running the municipality. I know this overdraft is all good and we're going to be okay with the rate review coming in slowly to cause this to happen. But I second the motion on the fact that I'm really pleased that we're going to do something about this, and I won't have to ever again, but I'm disappointed that that to come to this for us to make a decision.
Thank you very much, Councillor Phelan. Is there any councillors that would like to speak against the motion? Councillor Kirby.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, I'm very disappointed that we've gone down this line, and I feel that as a councillor group, this has been on the agenda for the past 6 years. We have got rid of the aged services division within our shire, where we were meant to be saving $600,000 a year. I find that year after year we are being told that we have to make cuts, we've got to look at the budget. To be honest, we do not even get line items anymore as councillors, so we cannot go through the budget line by line to see what can come that might be able to be, taken out of the budget. Last year, it was the same thing. Just before we were going to the vote, we didn't have all the information up front. And at the last minute, we were making decisions, on the run. I just feel that as a council, we should be taking former councillor Clayton Whitfield's advice and start off at a zero budget. A zero budget and work up from there. Because at the moment, we're just going backwards as a council. And I don't know for how long I've said that as a council, we have to find other sources of income to generate and make ourselves, give us room to move. But we've got to listen to our ratepayers as well. They want rates. They just want to worry about rates, roads and rubbish. They don't want the fluffy stuff. If we have to remove some of them items, I'll be the first to put my hand up to do it. But at this stage, I don't want to see our council go backwards, even though we're going to have funding in the future from the wind farms. But we have to, as a council, start looking at alternative sources of income. And I don't mean just jacking the rates up, because our residents are hit with this, the levy from the government as well. And there's no way our residents can afford to pay excessive rates. So I just feel that at the moment, this is going out for consultation to the public, and I hope everyone's on board and lets us councillors know what they think. Do they want the fluffy things in council, or do they want us to stick to rates, roads, rubbish, recycling? Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Much, Councillor Kirby. Just as a point of clarification, this decision to go out to the public does not change what a ratepayer is paying on the rates notice. There's no change to ratepayers' rates. Councillors, is there anyone who would like to speak for the motion? Councillor Gamble, thank you.
Yeah, I think it's pretty important that we acknowledge that it's not the best situation. But so some of the things that have led to it, as outlined in this report, have been out of our control and have been bit of a perfect storm with changing of accounting standards, asset appreciation calculation, how that's done, and also the accounting and acquittal of grant money. So with the requirement of this revision incorporates getting an overdraft ability. That's to provide security. Hopefully it won't be needed to manage any unexpected issues. So so I commend the CEO in particular with the communications and clarity in addressing the situation, and the governance and financial officers for identifying the potential risks and engaging in solutions. There will be continuing discussions about how we can improve our financial sustainability and options we may have going forward. I'd also like to thank Councillor Robbins for the work that she's put into it. And I'm satisfied that we can get back on a more stable footing within a year based on the approaches we're taking outlined in this, and also just in the internal conversations we've had. So I fully support the proposals and this revised budget in whole. Thank you.
Councillor Gamble. Is there any other councillors like to speak against the motion? Any councillors like to speak for the motion? Councillor Robbins, if you'd like to sum up.
I've said enough, thank you.
Councillor Robbins. Councillors, we'll put the motion to a vote. All those in favour? Unanimously in support of that. Thank you very much, councillors. Item 7.7, in principle approval of the annual financial statements and performance statements. Councillors, I refer to page 32 of the agenda for this report. Is there any questions on this item? No questions on this item. I will seek a mover to the motion. Motion, Councillor Robbins, and seconding the motion, Councillor Hayden. Thank you very much, Councillor Robbins.
This is a recommendation to approve the annual financial statements to be sent on to the auditor, and to authorise the Mayor and myself to certify the final statements after any changes arising out of the audit, and to authorise the Mayor and CEO to certify the governance and management checklist. This is a process that's required under the Local Government Act.
Thank you very much, Councillor Robbins. Councillor Hayden, seconding the motion. Thank you very much, Councillor Hayden. Councillors, is there anyone else that would like to speak against the motion? There's no councillors speaking against the motion. I will put the motion to a vote. All those in favour? Motion is carried unanimously. Thank you. Item 7.8, the acquisition and disposal of lands at Elizabeth Street in Smythesdale. Councillors, I refer you to page 35 of the agenda. Again, if there is any questions, it's a good time. No questions to this one. I will seek a mover to a motion. Moving the motion, Councillor Robbins, and seconding the motion, Councillor Phelan. Councillor Robbins, thank you.
Now, I must admit I found this one quite confusing at first. There's a wedge-shaped section of land on Elizabeth Street in Smythesdale that was acquired by council to fix an issue where the road reserve on paper wasn't aligned with the actual road. Now we want to essentially do a swap where we exchange that wedge-shaped section with a section of crown land in the same size and shape that's better situated for council to actually use it. There's a couple of diagrams attached to the agenda that people can look at if this isn't making much sense with just a verbal explanation. Because this involves disposing of land owned by council, it needs to go up for public consultation. So this is just about transparency and letting residents have their say if they have any concerns. and any submissions will stand council for consideration will be entered as well.
Right, Councillor Robbins. Councillor Phelan, second.
Well, Councillor Robbins explained it really well. I think it's just the alignment of two lots of land. There's been a properties in the wrong place, it fits in the wrong place. We're straightening up the blocks and enables the people that own the blocks to sell them.
Thank you very much, Councillor Phelan. Councillors, is there anyone that would like to speak against the motion? Nobody speaking against the motion. I will put the motion to a vote. All those in favour? Motion is carried unanimously. Thank you very much. Item 7.9, subdivisions and road naming policy. Councillors, I refer you to page 37 of the agenda. Are there any questions on this item 7.9? No questions. Councillors, I will seek a mover to the motion. Moving the motion, like a bingo caller. Moving the motion is Councillor Robbins, bingo. And seconding the motion, Councillor. Thank you very much, Councillor Phelan. Councillor Robbins, thank you.
Thank you. This is just an update to a policy that brings it into line with current realities. The policy itself is to provide a method of selecting names for new roads and subdivisions that are suitable and chosen in accordance with the naming rules for places in Victoria. I see nothing of concern in the updates, so I'm happy to move that we adopt the revised policy.
Right, Councillor Robbins. Councillor Phelan.
This progression, Mr Mayor, and it's something we've got to do, and we've got a policy now that we can follow, so I think it's fairly straightforward.
Thank you very much, Councillor Phelan. Any councillors like to speak against the motion? No councillors speaking against the motion. I will put it to a vote. All those in favour? Motion is carried unanimously. Thank you very much. Councillors, this brings us to item 7.10, Delegates Report and Informal Meetings of Councillors Records, which is on page 39 of the agenda. Councillors, I also do note and the reformatted delegates report this month, which sort of puts our collective team efforts there together as a unified front, appreciating the work we have done collectively working together the last number of months in a team-oriented approach and highlighting what works we are doing collectively as a group and appreciating some months councillors can do a significant amount of work. In other months, councillors are busy with their own family commitments, or months where single councillors do a significant amount of work and reading and doesn't get it highlighted here. So, councillors, just wanted to give a little bit of a brief introduction on the format that we've spoken about. Councillors, I'll seek someone to moving the motion, Councillor Hayden. And seconding the motion, Councillor Robbins. Councillor Hayden.
Thank you, Ms. Sharkey. Yes, as you said, I'd like to speak briefly on the matter of delegates' reports and the record of informal meetings of councillors. While these reports are absolutely important, I think it's also worth noting that they only do capture a small part of what councillors actually do. Much of our work in the community is not reportable in this format. Things like having informal conversations and meetings with residents, listening to their concerns, following up with staff and simply reading through long reports and submissions so that we come to meetings prepared. I know Councillor Robbins spent much of the weekend just gone and a couple of days of her work week last week scouring through the budget to be able to come to what she has today. These are all essential parts of the role, even though they aren't formally documented or tabled as a report. If we judge councillor activity only by what appears in the delegate reports, it risks giving an incomplete picture of the time and effort that goes into representing and working with our community. So while I absolutely support the recording of delegates' reports and informal meetings, I also think we should acknowledge that a great deal of councillor work happens outside of these channels and that it is equally important in shaping the decisions we make around the table.
Councillor Hayden. Councillor Robbins.
Yeah, I fully endorse what Councillor said. The delegates report really only highlights a small amount of the work that councillors do. And as I've said before, a lot of what comes up in the delegates report is not the work of being a councillor, it's the reward. It's celebrating things with our communities. So yeah, comment there. I attended the Australian Local Government Association State Conference. Some of the highlights included a talk from a leadership coach about how to stay anchored while serving others, a talk from a futurist about predicting how the future might be different from today, and a seminar from an intelligence researcher on combating disinformation. It was a highly valuable professional development experience, and I've shared my notes with the team here. I also attended the Ballarat Regional Landfill Monitoring Committee meeting and a tour of the landfill. The landfill is operated by Ballarat City Council, but it's located here in Smythesdale. It was really interesting to hear about the engineering that goes into managing leachate, gas, odour, phytocapping, stormwater, weeds, and carbon. It seems to me that they've got a fantastic team looking after the landfill with enthusiasm, assuming the best possible performance. I wasn't able to attend the farmers market in Bannockburn because I had a prior commitment with my fire brigade, but that is the beauty of being a member of a team of councillors. Residents can connect with any of us, and we're working to make sure that there are plenty of chances to do that. I enjoyed catching up with all the regulars at the Smythesdale Country Market this past Saturday. This is my local market, so I'm a regular there too. It was a bit of a chilly day, but the rain mostly held up. And we were able to chat to lots of residents, mainly from the Smythesdale, Scarsdale, Haddon and Sixth Creek areas, and introduce them to our new CEO.
Thank you much, Councillor Walters. Is there any other councillors who'd like to speak to the delegates' report? Yes, Gamble, sorry.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, to start with, an advantage of this new format, as I see it, is I hope it gives better insight into what councillors are attending and up to as part of evidence of being better value to their community. So you'll notice there are things in this delegates report that would not be included in past ones because they're not officially forgotten the word that set out by council, but they're important things that wouldn't be included in, such as my attendance to the Tall Tree Wind Farm Community Engagement Meeting, which was not official council sanctioned, but it's very important. A lot of passionate people there. It's a range of concerns. Some were a bit bizarre. It was got a bit disorderly and disrespectful at times, and a bit confrontational, but there were also very legitimate concerns, and people able to express their point of view. Also, like the Teesdale Planning Group meeting, that's an important one. We had two of those over the month with the starting of a new cycle, and the CEO attended one previously. Also this Smythesdale Farmers Market would not normally be included, except this time it was attended sort of more as an official council function with meeting the CEO, and there's quite a few of us there, which was really good, but yeah, it sure was cold that morning. And there are a few other ones that I went to, such as the Choose Tourism Expo, which I put that down as being of value because I had a really good conversation that met for the first time the office holders of the Midwest Tourism, which works with about 7 councils centred around Ballarat area, but it also includes a good half of our shire, north of Meredith, I think. So yeah, there's quite a lot going on that we wouldn't normally see in the delegates report, but we are here, which is really good. Thank you.
Councillor Gamble. Councillor Kirby, would you like to?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, I also attended the landfill monitoring meeting at Smythesdale, a passionate group of people, and it's really good to hear that they've actually taken on board what some of the residents asked for in the past. So just the cleaning of the roads outside the front of the tip itself, whereas a lot of mud and that sort of thing had been built up and trucks weren't washing their trucks as they were going out. And when you've got a lot of mud on the highway, it was a bad exercise on behalf of the trucks not having a cleaning venue to wash their trucks before they hit the highway. So they've taken that on board, so I can congratulate them for that. Once again, the work that they've done there, it's amazing when you actually go inside the area, and the rehabilitation and the cleaning up of the area is a credit to them. So I think it's just a good thing, because I know some of the Smythesdale residents in the past have been a bit concerned about fire and that sort of thing. So at the end of the day, just to see what they have been doing within the groundworks has been fantastic. I also attended the Ganesh Chaturthi Festival 25, and that was held in Ballarat. It is a Hindu festival. Some of the other guest speakers were Catherine King and Michaela Settle. It was great to see the community all come together and for us to participate in that. It featured cultural performances showcasing music, art and dance on the day. This was a celebration to showcase and celebrate their Hindu culture and heritage while fostering unity across Victoria's diverse multicultural communities. I'd like to thank Narayana Vasantha, President of the Ballarat Hindu Temple, for their invitation to this delightful event. Before I attended the Smythesdale market, I also attended the youth market at the Smythesdale Recreation Reserve, and that was it's a fantastic project that's been put on by the youth of the Shire, and they held that in the Smythesdale Recreation Reserve, which is the basketball courts in the inside area. Once again, just to see the youth there, a lot of young families were attending, and children, just you could see how much they appreciated making their crafts and selling them on the day. So it was a great morning, and afternoon was held at both events. There was good positive feedback from the community, and there was also history broadened throughout the Wadi Yallock History Group while having a cuppa with them. I look forward to the next 12 months for consultation in some of our 56 communities across the Shire. At midday, I also attended the Dural Men's Shed AGM with a special guest, our new CEO, Adam. Approximately 30 residents were in attendance. The Men's Shed is also the Committee of Management for the Hall and the Recreation Centre. All positions were declared vacant and a full committee was elected. So we had a great afternoon there, and they were very happy to meet and greet the CEO. I think they were a bit surprised, but it was a fantastic effort.
Thank you very much, Councillor Kirby. Councillor Cook.
Thank you, Mayor. I was also in attendance at the Smythesdale landfill meeting and was quite impressed by the engineering achievements that they've used at that site, as was Councillor Robbins. In addition, I'd like to foreshadow that there'll be some movement on the tourism board with the Greater Geelong and Bellarine Tourism Board, and the work that's been done by Peter Risdale at the Shire offices. And I think that excellent work that he has done can be translated into some positive outcomes with the greater regional tourism marketers. But I hope to come back to council in the next meeting or the one after that. We also went to the Bannockburn market, but the specific one that I want to mention is the excellent work at the Bannockburn P12. It's a very large school, and I think that's what people have stopped at. They've seen that, oh, it's a very large school, but what they're actually doing out there in terms of their music program is really quite remarkable. not only is there a large pool of talent, but they also emphasise inclusion and diversity. And when we say inclusion, we include from the superstars of the future. There was one girl there, Anne Fernando, I think she was, and she said, "Welcome, I'm Anne Fernando. I'm glad you've met me because I'm going to be a star in the future." And it was great confidence of the young people that really gladdens one's heart. But equally, there was showmanship on the part of Nathan, who was a Victorian Education and Training student there, who really put on quite a showstopper for the showmanship that he displayed in putting forth his performance on that night. But I was just astounded. It wasn't 3 or 4 talented and sharp people putting on the show. It was numbers of groups, and there were individuals, there were bands, and there was some involvement of the teaching staff out there who clearly have a passion. And I think that as a centre of, dare I say, excellence in Bannockburn, the music program conducted at the P12 is really a shining light. So that's all I'd say, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much, Councillor Cook. Thank you. And just further adding to that, I had an extremely busy September, as most people will appreciate. September is an extremely busy time for most passionate Cats supporters. But on top of that, this month has been a month for us collectively to get together, and appreciating the CEOs has been mentioned several times tonight, as we all sort of work in not only our relationship with the CEO over the past month, but also the community. So I think the two farmers markets, both at Bannockburn and Smeisdale, I was genuinely appreciate the number of residents that do truly appreciate the role a CEO plays in a community. So there was a lot of community leaders and members that really took the moment to attend those farmers markets to just introduce themselves to the CEO, and appreciating the relationship that communities can have with the CEO. Also attended the landfill. I thought it was an exceptionally good presentation to get to know that. I did take a few moments after that to actually send out a letter to the Mayor of Ballarat, just to strongly appreciate the work that group did out there. Not only our team that gave a presentation there, but the Ballarat team there that serviced that landfill, and the passion that they had for what they were presenting was something that I felt it needed absolute commending. Myself and CEO attended and hosted the latest G21 meeting, which was held by our G21 neighbours, and a good meeting was had there. Also had a meeting with the CEO and local MP Michaela Settle to start the process, I suppose, 12 months out from election, and putting our hands together and hoping for a lot of things coming up next year. So that work, that piece of work has been commenced, and there is several more meetings with all our local politicians coming up. I too, like Councillor Cook, did get to attend and vote on the inaugural music battle of the bands, or the house music that they have there. So it is great to see the passion of a community coming together there. So it's been a great month, and I do appreciate the comments and the sentiment there put by councillors that there's a lot of work that we do as councillors that will never ever get truly appreciated. There's certain times that I will ask my wife to go to the supermarket instead of me, because I know it's going to take me 45 minutes instead of 5 minutes to do something. And that's part of our role being out in the community. It's those conversations we have with community members in an ad hoc way, the conversations and the phone calls that are had each and every day that we all play a role in that is greatly unappreciated and unseen. But I think as any former councillor or any councillor sitting around this room would truly well and truly appreciate. So thank you very much, councillors, on a great month of servicing the community collectively together. With that, councillors, I will put the motion to a vote. All those in favour? Those against? Nobody. And I will take that as unanimous passing of that motion. Thank you. With no motion, no petitions or no urgent business, I will move and seek a councillor to move a motion that we move into confidentiality. Moved Councillor Phelan and seconded Councillor Hayden. Thank you. All those in favour? And that, yeah, so thank you very much. So the council, we are to close the meeting to the members of the public to consider item 7.3, the budget variation Falkland Road flood mitigation, pursuant to section 66(1) of the Local Government Act, as it contains confidential information as described in section 3 of the Act, as it includes commercial information that, if prematurely released, would prejudice council's position. All those in, yeah, Des moving the motion and Councillor Hayden seconding the motion. All those in favour, councillors? And thank you very much. The motion is carried and we'll move into confidentiality.